So what's this? The calm after the storm? Yesterday was special. A rural tornado that didn't hurt anyone. You'll love to see it. And now you and I are having a bonfire cookout with the team. It's a good time. It's too early to light the bonfire right now. We'll do it after the sun goes over the horizon. Let me tell you, I'm sweating something fierce right now. Cooking at the grill on a hot summer evening, and the bonfire is just going to make it even hotter. Strangely, I don't really mind the heat for once. In fact, I'm kind of embracing it. It's dry heat, so I don't feel swamped by any humidity or mugginess, and the flames from the grill keep the bugs away. Honestly, it's really not that bad. I'll stink with the smell of sweat and charred meat later, though, so just be prepared for that. Not that I think you'll mind. You better believe that I'll be the first to shower in the morning. I'll need it more urgently than you. Alright, time to flip. There we go. Nothing beats a fried onion smash burger. It's an Oklahoma classic. Guess I'll get the sauce ready now. It's a mix of ketchup, mustard, mayo, relish, hot sauce, and a bit of salt and pepper. It'll be delicious, I promise you that. Now to stir it up. Okay, that's done. The cheese is smoked Gouda. And well, since it's going on the patties during cooking, I guess that means it's double smoked now. Hey honey, can you get the lettuce and tomatoes from the cooler and set them on the table? I'd like to have those ready when we build our burgers. Thanks, sweetie. Oh, right, I almost forgot to toast the buns. That's a pretty important thing to do. They're brioche buns, ultra soft, rich, and buttery, perfect for big, bold burgers. Hey Sam, you brought the bacon, right? Cooked it ahead of time. Nice. Alright, I think we're just about done here. Cheese is nice and melted. Just gotta set aside the burgers in this pan. And then we can feast. This might just be the best burger I've ever had in my life. Food always tastes better when you make it yourself. It was made with love. This really is the life. I'm surrounded by friends, my loving spouse, eating good home-cooked food. It's moments like these that really make me feel alive. The only thing that can make this better is if there was a tornado in the distance that we could watch. But the atmosphere is too calm for that right now. There's barely any clouds. You know, if I had $1 for every time that Moore was hit by a major historical tornado, I'd have $2. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. The Moore tornadoes are so fascinating to me. In some ways, they feel like two of the most important tornadoes ever. Not in the most definitive sense, but the notion is still there. Oh, trust me, Sam. I can argue about the historical significance of certain tornadoes if you want to. It can be a friendly, albeit passionate debate. Those are always fun. You really think Bridge Creek holds the record for the fastest tornado ever? Did you forget about Greenfield last year? If you want to make the argument about maximum wind speed versus likely wind speed, then technically neither Bridge Creek or Greenfield would have the record. It would actually be El Reno. I'm serious. El Reno had the absolute highest maximum wind speed of any tornado ever at a screaming 336 miles per hour. And yet no one says that it was the fastest tornado. Furthermore, this would imply that El Reno holds 2 tornado records, both the largest and fastest, and it only holds the record for size. Okay, that's fair. There are factors that can muddy our perception of tornado records. Radar data, EF scale, and damage indicators. Alright, I'll give you that. There's a lot of misinformation about tornado data out there. Some things aren't always concrete. Well, whether you think Bridge Creek has kept the wind speed record or not, I still want to talk about it anyway. Wouldn't mind teaching my spouse some more tornado history. Bridge Creek is exceptionally special. I was a baby when it happened, not even a year old and living up in Vermont. I didn't learn about the tornado until many years later. It feels like the last old tornado. And in a way, it kinda is. It felt like the gateway into the modern age of meteorology. It was basically the final boss of the old Fujita scale. The very last F5 that ever happened. I know that sounds overly dramatic, but I really mean it. Bridge Creek is seriously important, and for multiple reasons at that. As we discussed earlier, its wind speed was record-shattering, peaking at 321 miles per hour. Everything that this tornado touched was violently torn to shreds in seconds. And unfortunately, more was on the chopping block. The old Fujita scale maxed out at 318 miles per hour. This was the first tornado to literally go off the charts. In fact, Bridge Creek might be the reason why anyone ever believed in the mythical F6 rating. Theoretically, F6 tornadoes would start at a minimum of 319 miles per hour, so if we assume that the rating was real, Bridge Creek basically did the impossible. I don't exaggerate when I say that Bridge Creek changed meteorology forever. There's so much stuff that it did. It was the first tornado to ever warrant a tornado emergency. There's 3 different types of tornado alerts, and I can describe them with the taco analogy. Let's assume you have the ingredients to make a taco. You could make a taco, but you haven't yet. This is a tornado watch. The atmosphere has everything it needs to spawn a tornado, but nothing has happened yet. Maybe nothing even will happen. The alert is used just so people are aware of the possibility. These happen all the time in Tornado Alley, as you might expect. Next is tornado warning. You've made the taco. It's there. It exists. You have it. A confirmed tornado is on the ground. Pretty simple, right? And lastly, the big one. Tornado emergency. You have now decided to eat the taco. This is when a confirmed tornado is headed for a major metropolitan area and is about to put people in danger. Action must be taken immediately. It's a very serious situation. Even you and I have experienced this before. It just didn't result in an EF5. Remember the EF3 that destroyed the diner we went to? That was a tornado emergency. Fortunately, it roped out before it could do major damage to the city. It was quite the close call. Anyway, not only was the Bridge Creek tornado the last F5, but it also happened in 1999, the last year of an entire millennium. It's as if Mother Nature herself was writing a story. You can't make this up. Lastly, it's the reason why we have the enhanced Fujita scale today. It made meteorologists rethink the very subject of tornado study itself. And that is the legendary history of the Bridge Creek F5 tornado of May 3rd, 1999. A horrible demon that wrought terror upon the citizens of Moore, but also a valuable asset that made us more knowledgeable for the future. Of course, that's not where it ends. 14 years later, Moore would be visited by a ghost of the past. A ghost that was all too real. The Newcastle EF5 tornado of May 20th, 2013. Also known as the last EF5 that ever happened. To this very day, we've never had an EF5 since. A 12-year-long drought that's still ongoing. This means, as of right now, Moore is the victim of the last F5 and EF5 tornadoes. It's poetic. As I said earlier, it's like Mother Nature wrote a story. The Newcastle tornado started as an unassuming funnel cloud, just a normal-looking tornado without any noteworthy factors. But it quickly made people's hearts sink. Once it touched down, it started moving into more while morphing into a violent wedge. It took what people called the May 3rd path. You can already see where this is going. The situation could be best described as code red. Everyone went into survival mode. The citizens of Moore had 3 options: get underground, get out of its way, or die. This was a gigantic, rampaging monster that didn't know mercy. A bathroom or interior closet would not cut it like those rooms would with lesser tornadoes. As an anecdote, you can look up the old news report on YouTube. It was live coverage that addressed the tornado as it was happening. Weather reporter Mike Morgan was commentating most of the event, and at some point, he said one of the most iconic phrases in the history of meteorology. I quote, "You never want to say it, but we're going to say it right now. This is May 3rd all over again." Did you just get chills? Because I sure did. Mike Morgan also covered Bridge Creek. Despite its age, the broadcast is available on YouTube. Both of these tornadoes are very well documented. Anyway, after 40 excruciating minutes and incredible devastation, the Newcastle tornado roped out, beginning the EF5 drought that we're still in today. And so, after all that, Moore now has a reputation that it'll never be able to shake off. It is well and truly a tornado magnet, the absolute core of Tornado Alley. So that begs the question, why do people live there? Could be a few reasons. Perhaps there are people who were born there that feel too at home to leave. Maybe it's the cost of living. Or even the thrill. Whatever the case, the city has been rebuilt twice. It recovered, and then recovered again. But this begs another question. When and where will the next EF5 take place? Will one ever happen again? Well, for the sake of people's lives, we can hope that EF5s have gone extinct. But let's be realistic. Someday, no matter how much we don't want it to happen, it's inevitable. One day a powerful supercell will form over a major metropolitan area, and all hell will break loose. And all of us will have to be on site to not only document the tornado and cement our place in history, but also help those in need, to not just be storm chasers, but also heroes. It's strange how tornadoes seemingly only exist to destroy, yet we can't help but be captivated by them. I don't know what's weirder at this point, us or nature. Whatever the case, they're an unstoppable part of our lives, and we just have to do what we can to make a difference. Well, I'm done telling stories and being emotional. I've yapped enough. So, did y'all enjoy the burgers? 10 out of 10, hell yeah! I'm such a good cook. Girl, you know that is not what we meant when we said we should tell ghost stories around the fire.